Welcome to the ICMCI Asia Pacific Hub meeting. In my presentation, I will share with you the review process for ICMCI CMC Competence Framework and the version 2026 with some extracts and examples from the competences with their new content. Let me share the file with you. So, the review process was owned and executed by PDSC, Professional Development and Standards Committee, which has the members from different countries like Turkey, Italy, UK, Serbia, Caribbean, and Jordan. We have been working since September 2025. We have defined the scope of work at the beginning, including the material ownership roles across the PDSC members, and stakeholders requested for feedback via questionnaires. And first phase of review was completed in the last couple of months of 2025. We received very good and useful value-adding feedback from stakeholders and assessors. And stakeholders included IMCs, relevant committees, and also the organizations which ICMCI is in partnership, like UNIDO, like EBRD, and other organizations. And then the feedback and other inputs were consolidated early this year, and we shared outputs with the board of ICMCI, and now we are putting together all the income inputs and then finalized the overall competence framework, and it will be officially announced globally in May and June, including this hub meeting and also the other occasions like the international events and local events. Let us share some outcomes, some feedback from stakeholders. Indeed, we have asked a number of questions to all stakeholders, and we asked the following questions. These are just examples out of those questions. Some key questions and key answers are shown on a couple of slides in this presentation. The stakeholders find the competence framework for their professional and institutional context very, very useful and useful. The overall total is being 88%. And the relevance of the existing competence areas are also above 80%. And we have also asked if the stakeholders thinking that we should explicitly reflect the global trends in competence framework. They also give us some feedback on including sustainability, artificial intelligence and emerging technologies, new ways of working with higher levels of scoring like digitalization, 70%, artificial intelligence, 78%, and new ways of working, more than half of the stakeholders. Some other questions and review of the feedback, and we asked them if the subjects or concepts that they think should be removed from the framework, any subjects, and they said none of them. So keep all the content, all the competence framework concepts in the existing framework at the level of 90%. They said, no, keep them. They are useful, they are meaningful, they are relevant. And to the question, are there any subjects or concepts that you think should definitely be kept in the framework? They said, keep all the subjects about 80%. Some responses, what new competences or skills should be added? So facilitation in person, in hybrid and remote environment, especially after the COVID. As you know, we had these ways of working, like working in hybrid and remote environments, became part of our daily life. Working with clients in multiple modes, like in person, virtual, and bimodal, leadership for remote and hybrid teams, and some other additional competences which are suggested for addition: analytical thinking, problem solving, change and culture management, managing change and uncertainty, etc. Then some other details. What additional support documents or materials would you find useful as part of the competence framework package? The key message was communication. Communication must be improved, not only to consultants, but also the business community. We are working on these, and we will give more attention, more energy, more time to share the content of competence framework, the output of competence framework work with the stakeholders globally. And we will organize some events, some briefing sessions or webinars for various stakeholders. So some inputs to the survey from assessors, if we summarize them, the questions we had: how comfortable are you with the current competence framework? More than 90%, they said they are very much comfortable, somewhat comfortable. So 61% very much, and 35% somewhat comfortable. How useful do you find the framework in assessing IMC's processes for CMC? When we asked this question to the assessors, they said extremely useful and very useful. So the overall being 90%. To what extent does the framework reflect the skills and competences needed by management consultants today? And again, a very positive response, 95% saying very well and adequately. How do you see the metrics preferred and acceptable assessment techniques? This is a key tool that the assessors use during the assessment of IMCs in the process of competence framework and in the process of assessing the candidates for CMC. And the response was again at the level of 80%. Some other questions and some feedback from the assessors. If we continue, how effective is the framework in ensuring fairness, consistency, and credibility in assessment? And the overall is 100%, with very effective 38% and effective 62%. How useful do you find the framework in assessing IMC's processes for CMC? Again, 90%. Which of the following global trends should be more explicitly reflected in the competence framework from the eyes of assessors? Again, in consistency with the other stakeholders, they say sustainability in a rate of at a rate of 80%, artificial intelligence and emerging technologies 80%, digitalization, circular economy, new ways of working, linking client transformation and global trends around 70 and 65%. So in alignment with the stakeholders' feedback and also supporting the idea of including the global trends in the competence framework with these items and uh, high level of uh, rates of, let's say, positive feedback. Some other, let's say, feedback from the assessors. How would you rate the relevance of existing competence areas? Again, overall, relevant 57, very relevant 43. Overall, 100% they find it relevant or very relevant. What new competences or skills should be added from the eyes of assessors? Then again, similarly, in the stakeholder feedback, artificial intelligence, digital literacy, technology skills, value creation for client. And for improvement suggestions, they say increase frequency of meetings for communication for the assessors. Again, communication is one of the key messages. Deployment of the knowledge and understanding and the content of competence framework across the assessor community. Integrate global trends such as digitalization, AI, sustainability. Provide clear guidance on equivalence application for IMCs, and simplify the material. Another good and clear message from assessors, and we are working on that very hard. So overall summary of feedback, including the stakeholders and assessors, highlights the followings: reinforce communication, simplify the language, develop training and awareness sessions, involve academic fellows, develop supporting material, including requirements of continuous professional development, and decrease the number of competences. Although we had added more competences, it remained at the same level of number of competences, even increased. Sorry for that, but it has been a very comprehensive and up-to-date list of competences in the framework. Summary of key messages from survey, again, from stakeholders and assessors. Keep the existing structure, review and improve the content, enrich AI digitalization specific skills, including skills related to new ways of working. Indeed, we have included all of these. We have considered the review very seriously, the review feedback very seriously, and did our best to include all the expectations in the competence framework. And we have also kept the levels of definition of competences like foundation, CMC, professional leaders. And these are the key levels, as you know, and which are they are meaningful in the assessment process and also important to deploy the culture of, let's say, uh, behavior, technical skills, and stakeholder relations at different levels, such as foundation, CMC, and professional levels. So, as you most of you already know, we have the structure, the existing structure of CMC competence framework, like business insight and aptitude, practice capabilities, consultative behavior, ethics and professional conduct. We kept this structure, didn't change it much, but we have introduced a new competence, which includes AI and data literacy. In the existing competences, we have also added, these are the existing competences, 1.1, 1.2, and we have added some more to include digitalization and AI skills, and also new ways of working in each of these existing competences. But we have specifically added a competence framework which focuses on AI and data literacy. And we have added some sub-competences like ability to frame problems for AI, starting from the beginning of using AI, and interpreting the model outputs from AI work involving the AI, then understanding the limitations of using AI in the business cases, integrating AI tools to client processes, understanding and using data, but we didn't forget to include safe, secure, and responsible use of data and AI. So as you can see, this is the process of using the AI, starting from the framing problems for AI and using all these steps in a safe, secure, and responsible use to create value for client during the management consultancy processes or management consulting services or assignments. So the new approach to competence framework with future focus now has been shaped with the following dimensions in the overall framework. And this is an old or traditional, let's say, definition of a profile, T-shaped, which we mean consultants will, with deep expertise, the vertical dimension, plus broad business understanding, the horizontal dimension, will be standard rather than exceptional. So we expect the management consultants to be analytical, going into details, and also at the same time to be able to see the big picture, the overview, and understanding of the whole picture at the client level. So core technical competences with the inclusion inclusion of AI and data literacy, systems and design skills, ESG fluency, regulatory knowledge, change and workforce transformation, and in the dimension of behavior and human competences, senior relationship building, sense making and adjustment, facilitation and coordination, resilience and adaptability, and ethical courage will be the key characteristics of management consultants with this competence framework. And the dimension of ways of working, work in AI augmented teams, operate in hybrid global models, focus on outcomes and assets, not hours, and don't forget the continuous improvement and continuous professional development. Okay. Then the characteristics can also be summarized with these aspects: technologically fluent and data literate, but still yet skeptical enough to challenge AI outputs and protect client interests. T-shaped, combining deep domain or functional expertise with broad strategic and PESEL awareness, the overview, the big picture, and behaviorally strong in trust building, facilitation, resilience, and ethical leadership in complex politically sensitive contexts, and embedded in AI augmented hybrid teams focused on measurable outcomes and long-term capability building for clients, not just reports or recommendations. So this way, the competence framework will provide the details of competences for the management consultants, technologically strong and fluent, being capable of going into details on the areas relevant to the client, and also keeping the overall picture, overall view, the big picture, and at the same time being resilient and ethical leader and capable of using AI augmented tools, hybrid teams focused on measurable outcomes and similar skills and capabilities to support the performance. So just some examples from the competence framework version 2026. So the same structure with reinforced and supported by new dimensions, including the capabilities in digital and AI related areas. So you see, we started to include appropriate use of digital collaboration and information management practices where relevant. And professional leader example applies the same discipline in digitally enabled assignments and ways of working. So it goes like this in the area of practice capabilities. Another example, this is a completely added and new competence framework, management of digitally enabled assignments. So for each level, we have added some new text related to digital tools, data, AI-assisted methods, and also appropriate controls, transparency, and safeguards for safe and secure use of digital tools in CMC level, and also similar aspects corresponding to the professional leader, including again safe and secure use of digital tools, data, and AI assisted methods, but at the level of advice, mentorship, and coaching the others for the professional leader. In the practice capabilities, again, another competence which is added, managing engagement in hybrid and digitally enabled environments. So managing the engagement this time with relevant levels of competence depths for foundation, CMC, and professional leader. Another new competence, using digital and AI-assisted tools, methods to create client value for client. At the foundation level, we focus on awareness. At the CMC level, we focus on using the digital and AI-assisted methods appropriately. And the professional leader, we focus on leading others and supporting them for the long-term client relationship with due attention, again, to safety, security, and confidentiality. On the side of facilitation and co-creation is also a keyword for working with client in creating new values, creating solutions, and foundation, CMC, and professional levels are defined accordingly. Resilience and adaptability, as you see, these have been provided by the stakeholders and assessors as part of review. We have included them, but combined them with AI-assisted tools, concepts of digitalization, and similar subjects, and safety, security, and confidentiality at the appropriate levels of depth for foundation, CMC, and professional leader. Then in the newly included competence in the framework, which is AI and data literacy, we have included identifying clients' business issues, challenges, use cases, and expected value. So some definitions and descriptions of competences at the foundation, CMC, and professional leader level. Interpreting and validating AI assisted, as you will remember, it goes with some logic of process, starting from identifying the needs and looking for the AI, appropriate AI tools, and then interpreting the AI outputs, just steps of the process. Then understanding the limitations. So there are some limitations on the AI tool side, limitations on the client side. So uh, we described the competence definitions in full detail with the foundation, CMC, and professional leader level. And that was some set of competences, and you will also see the full details soon when they are globally announced. Thank you very much for your attention and time, and I wish you all a successful, efficient, and effective value-adding Asia Pacific Hub meeting. Thank you and all the best. Goodbye.